What's up, guys, and welcome to the Bearded Jeeper podcast. You're not going to want to miss today's episode. We interview Andy from Warren. What's up, guys? Bearded Jeeper here, and today is episode 12 of the Bearded Jeeper podcast. And today, my guest is Andy from Warren. What's going on, Andy?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, not too bad. So you are the strategic communications manager at Warren. That sounds like a pretty fancy title. What's involved in being that? What does the strategic manager do?
Right. Well, clearly I'm a very fancy individual. So what that is it is basically. I guess I should backtrack a little bit. Ever since I started working at Warren back in 2006, I was involved in communications of some sort. I started out as the copywriter and PR manager, basically, and that morphed into a digital marketing kind of role. But I was still doing the PR, so it made sense to change it to just an overall communications title. Can't quite say where the term came from or who decided that was the appropriate one, but it's basically PR marketing, all kind of anything that has to do with communications at Warren. A lot of it touches what I do.
So is that also involved in like the social media aspect of stuff too?
Yes. So if you are interacting with Warren on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anything like that, most of the forum sites, you're talking to me, for better or for worse. So, but yeah, so you're talking to me.
That sounds like a pretty busy and hectic schedule. I mean, you guys must get thousands of comments and questions and stuff every day.
Yeah, we do. We get lots of interaction. You know, we've got just short of 700,000 followers on Facebook. We've got 188,000 on Instagram. We got some people on Twitter, about 21,000 there, YouTube subscribers. So just the social media alone certainly keeps me busy. But in addition to that, I'm also doing things like writing the press releases, helping with some content for our catalogs and brochures, website, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, I am also the media contact. So people like yourself, other members of the media, whether it's print media, blogs, influencers, that kind of stuff, they're going through me for a lot of that stuff.
And now, like when you first started at Warren, did you know anything about the company, about winches? Were you like in the off-road scene? Do you have a Jeep or a off-road vehicle? How'd you get involved in the whole thing?
Yeah, it's actually funny. My father moved out to Oregon in 1991, and I'm not much of a golfer, but bear with me here. There used to be this little tiny par 3 course that, twice a year my dad would take me out of this golf course. And I remember going to it, and it was right next to this place called Warren Industries. And I recognized, even as like a 13-year-old back in the 90s, I recognized that W because I would see it on like TNN and Spike, and I was like, oh, they make truck parts. I know what they do. That's cool. I never in a million years did I expect to actually be working for that company, but it just so happens that that's the way it came. So I've always been a lifelong automotive fan, cars, trucks, whatever. My father was an avid Cherokee owner. I inherited one of his Cherokees when he passed away back in 2014, and I don't still have it, but I do have 3 other 4-wheel drives. But the Jeep community is fantastic. I can't tell you when I had issues with my Cherokee. Yes, I know that's shocking. I had issues with the Cherokee. No, but when I had issues, I mean, people across the country, wherever it was, if it needed something, people were so awesome. I've got so many stories about the Jeep community just helping out other Jeepers. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see the whole Jeep community kind of come together. And even when you're on the trails, if someone breaks, there's like 9 people there immediately with tools willing to lend a hand in order to get that person off the trail.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just amazing. We drove that Cherokee all over the West, as far down as we'd go down to Arizona, been down to Arizona twice with it. I'm sorry, once with it, once or twice, I don't remember. And then, wheeled it in Moab. drove it through the San Juans in Colorado and all those places. I mean, we did have some issues a couple of times. One time, pretty bad issues, and random people who I might have been friends with on Facebook, they were just like, hey, I've got a garage you can use, and they were Jeepers and were willing to throw in a helping hand to get us back on the road. And I mean, there's nothing quite like breaking down in the middle of nowhere where you're 900 miles from home. But the idea that these people are willing to, I mean, I had an amazing story where we had broken down outside of Vegas, and it was the compressor bearing on the AC, but it's a serpentine belt, so you can't just pull
Yeah.
it out. And it was actively grenading itself. And anyway, random truck driver just pulled over. He's like, "You guys okay?" And we're like, "Yeah, this is what's going on." And he said, "Well, I don't have a load on my semi trailer, so why don't we just load it up? I'll take it back to my garage and we'll fix it." I'm like, "You're
Okay.
not gonna murder me, are you?" Right? And then my wife was with me, and anyway, he ended up being a super awesome dude, and we were at his house until about 1 a.m. Went to O'Reilly, got all the parts we needed, and completely rebuilt that thing in his shop. And he sent me on my way. I didn't know me from Adam. I was just some guy. But it's that kind of stuff. And the 4-wheel drive community in general is just a really good. Don't leave anybody behind. You help people out. So I've been actively involved with 4-wheel drives for 13, 14 years now, and had a number of 4-wheel drives, and including that Cherokee. But yeah, so long story long, yes, I'm very much into 4-wheel drive, very much into cars, trucks, anything with an engine.
Now, I know you mentioned your wife there, and she went with you. I know my wife won't get behind or won't get in the passenger seat of the Jeep when I'm wheeling. So your wife is probably the opposite, and she likes to go on trails with you, I'm guessing?
Oh yeah, my wife, she's got her own 4-wheel drive. She's competed in the Rebel Rally. She's a accomplished driver. She's an automotive writer, actually. She writes
Wow.
for a whole host of. She's written for everybody from 4-wheeler to 4-wheel drive Toyota owner to even the New York Times. Like, so she does a lot of automotive off-road adventure journalism, that kind of stuff. So
Wow, that's really awesome to be that well published in all those different places.
yeah, and she had quit her job basically. She was an interior designer and project manager for about 20 years, and yeah, it's just she needed to change, and we talked a lot about it. But she decided to go into this industry. She would come to me with events, like we'd go to Jeep Safari every year. She'd come with me. We'd go to Overland Expo. We'd go to all these shows, and that's what she really loved to do. And anyway, she's done pretty well for herself in the last 2 years. I always joke, like, we'll be at the SEMA show, and somebody will come up to me and say, "Oh, hey, you're Mercedes' husband." I'm like, I went from being Andy at Warren to Mercedes' husband in about 2 years. So, but that's good. I'm super proud of her.
That's awesome. So you mentioned that you have a Jeep Cherokee, and I'm sure you have a Warren winch on the front. What Warren winch is it? I want to know what
Yeah.
A person that works at Warren is using. Are you using the top of the line stuff, or which winch did you
Yeah.
go with?
So I don't actually have the Cherokee anymore, but I still have the same winch that was on it. So I had still have a Warren Xeon 8S. Most of the rigs I own are pretty small and lightweight, and so they don't need 10, 12, 16 and a half thousand pounds. But so I actually have 3 4-wheel drives. I have 2 Xeon 8s, and then I have an M8000S, an M8S on the front of the other one. So all 8,000 pounds, but I like the Xeons are hard to beat. They're waterproof, they're high performance, and the M8000 is still one of my favorite winches. It's lightweight, it's quick, it doesn't take up much space.
Yeah, I have the Xeon 10s on the rank on the JK,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have a VR that I'm probably going to end up putting on my Cherokee build. And
Sure.
the VR is a pretty impressive winch for the price point. I mean, I did have a little issue where I broke it, but that was because I wound too much of the cable around the drum in one spot, and it just broke off that top little piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like the amount of time it took me to fix it, it was just super quick and super easy. And like I couldn't ask for better customer service to be able to fix that nice, quick, and easy.
Yeah, it's one of those things we try to pride ourselves on our customer service. Like the average tenure of a person in our customer service team is around 14 years. So you're not getting a lot of people who are new and don't know what they're talking about. We have an extensive customer service team, and they really know what they're talking about.
All right. So I saw this on the website and I had to ask. It's a wireless control that uses your smartphone. That's something new, right? Or is
Yeah,
that?
that hasn't. I think it's been out maybe. No, let's see. I think 6 days. So it is brand new.
Yeah, I just saw that and I thought that was just unreal because I have the little wireless thing where you plug it in the end and you have the little tiny remote. But I'm
Yep.
thinking if I could just have it on my phone's always charged. I don't have to worry
Right.
about replacing batteries. That's a
That's right.
brilliant idea.
Yeah, thank you. It's I say thank you like I had anything to do with developing it. But anyway, yeah. So it's called the Hub Wireless Receiver and App, and so it's sort of a nod to our history with our Warren hubs. But it's kind of a hub for your smart device. So what it does is you connect it to your winch. In your case, or in the case of most of the truck winches, it simply plugs into where the socket would go, and then you have a pairing sequence with your phone that pairs to that dongle. And yeah, you automatically obviously get operation of the winch. You also get voltage information about your battery. If you have a power sports winch, we have a model for our Axon. Our Axon's our most state-of-the-art winch at the moment. And you also get things like motor temperature and load information as well. So but even if you've got a Smittybilt winch, we offer a version that'll work with the Smittybilt winch. Power sports winches, it'll pretty much work with any winch with a contactor at this point. So, but yeah, we have 4 different versions: 2 for power sports, 2 for truck. And yeah, it's a great, either a main way to control your winch or a great way to have a backup for uh, something. Say you lost your winch, or you were doing a water crossing and it fell into the lake or the river, and so yeah, we've been developing it for a while. We have an app for your phone. The app is free, either iOS or Android. And then the receiver itself, I think on the website is 112. But that's direct from us. You might find different prices through our vendors as well.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And like you said, it kind of ties into your history calling it the hub. And a lot of people don't realize, I didn't actually realize this till I was doing some research for this podcast. I wanted to sound like halfway like I knew what I was talking about. And I was looking at the history and I didn't realize Warren produced hubs first. And it was
Uh-huh.
back when the World War II Jeeps, they were trying to make it so those could get out into the general public because they had so many of them from the war.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. So we started in 1948 with that exact product. They were basically, it was actually kind of like unlocking the hubs because they were full-time four-wheel drive kind of
Right.
thing. And so that's where we got started. We didn't start with the winches until about 1959. And so Arthur Warren had bought the Bellevue Corporation, or Bellevue Manufacturing, up in the Seattle area, and then started pioneering this winch. It started out as called the Model 8000 or Model 6000. It was power out and in only, didn't have free spool on it. And then eventually they did some testing on it and realized it actually would pull 8,000 pounds. So they called it the Model 8000. And then we kind of progressed from there. We sort of had that style up until 1974. And that's when they developed the sort of iconic 8274 winch. And that stands for 8,000 pounds two-way, so free spool or power in, power out. And 74 was the year that it was made. But sort of ironically, we just released a new version of the 8274 a couple months ago, still called the M8274, but now we offer it with synthetic line, a 6 horsepower motor, and the capacity is actually 10,000 pounds. So technically it should be the M1074, but we're just going to keep it as is because that's what people know it as.
That's awesome. And you just mentioned synthetic line, and I actually had a buddy that had a question
Mm-hmm.
on synthetic line and like a zero metal system for recovery. Like synthetic line, the soft shackles, like everything, even the like snatch blocks. They make those like polyurethane ones now. What are your thoughts on like that kind of recovery system? Is Warren getting involved in more of the soft shackles and the safer kind of recovery stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been, people have been using shackles and metal snatch blocks since the dawn of time, and we still offer all of that stuff. We just recently, well, actually about a year ago, came out with a line of soft shackles. So we have a 1/2 inch spider and nightline soft shackle, which is high visibility. It has a 3M reflective tracer material woven in, so it's really good to see at night. And then we also have a standard 3/8 inch spider soft shackle as well. All of our snatch blocks are still going to be your traditional, clamshell style or opening style snatch block. But yeah, I understand. There's definitely a desire to take a lot of metal out of the equation. Just to keep the weight down, and also, of course, from a potential energy standpoint. So if something does fly off, it doesn't hit something. But we also recently acquired Factor 55, so that's another company that we own. So we're super excited to be partnering with that brand now, and being involved in the closed system winching, and having those products as part of our Warren family as well.
Yeah, I thought that was a really like interesting merger. I was like, those are two great companies coming together. So I can't wait to see what you guys have in store as kind of like collaborative efforts with the companies. I think there are definitely some possibilities for some good things to come.
Yeah, we're very excited to work with those guys. They make very good, high quality American made products.
Now, do you guys have anything upcoming that you can tell us right now on the podcast? Anything new coming out? Anything to look forward to coming in the future?
Yes, but I can't talk about it. So, I will say this. The latest new thing we have released, if anybody hasn't seen it yet, which is Jeep specific at this point, pretty much, is our new line of wheels. We just got into the wheel business. So we have our Warren Epic wheels. We have 3 styles to choose from. They're going to be a 17 by 8.5 fitment, 5-on-5 for the JK, JL, Gladiator crowd. We have all the wheels are available in 2 different finishes, either gunmetal or black. And then they have a center cap that actually kind of resembles the classic Warren hub, the locking hub. So it's just a nod to the history again there. So we're excited to get into that arena, just kind of diversifying our product line. We'll always be known as the winch and hub company, but people, it's kind of funny because I'll go to a show and somebody's like, "When did you guys start making bumpers?" It's like, "Oh, 1974." I mean, so we've been making bumpers, and we're kind of trying to get the word out that, hey, by the way, we do other things than just winches, and in fact, we're going to be bringing out more product that is part of the entire off-road package, not just vehicle recovery and four-wheel drive hubs.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the website and I saw those wheels and I'm like, I don't remember them ever having wheels. Did I miss this? Or like, now you're saying it's new and I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
So definitely, hopefully this can help get the word out that you guys are doing more than just recovery stuff. You're trying to make almost everything you could need for a Jeep.
Yeah, everything from the standard stuff we just talked about in the wheels. We have a whole line of soft goods, grab handles, fire extinguisher holders, more accessory kind of things to go along with your winch, your bumper, now the wheels, rock sliders, that kind of stuff. We have all of that.
Now, are you guys gonna go to beadlocks as well, or are you just gonna stick with the traditional wheels right now?
Well, since we just came out with these, we're going to see how these wheels do in the market. If they end up being really popular, the sky's the limit. New styles, different bolt patterns. I know this is a Jeep show, but we've gotten questions about Toyota applications. And 6x1 39.7, and you going to make anything in 18s for the big trucks, and we're just gonna we're putting our hat in the ring, and we'll see how the sales do, and you just never know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Who knows? We might be running worn beadlocks in the future. That may be a thing.
Could happen.
That would be definitely interesting to see. Now, if you could recommend one product of the whole like worn like catalog of stuff that you guys sell, what would it be?
Hmm. We sell a hitch pin. No, I'm just kidding. So uh, one product, but so many of our products are dependent on vehicles, right? So, but I'm gonna have to go with the classic winch on this one. I really am. And of course, we make truck and SUV winches that range from 6,000 pounds up to 16,500 pounds. So from 8,000 to 16,500. We make power sports winches that range from 2,500 pounds to 5,500 pounds. In fact, we're even marketing some of these power sports products, like the 5,500-pound winches, to crossover buyers, Subaru buyers, Toyota RAV4, that kind of stuff. Jeep Renegade. So we'll always be the winch company, despite the fact that we have a whole bunch of other things and we want to tell people that. But our bread and butter is always going to be the winch. So I'm going to have to say that.
That probably will be the best thing, and I think that's the thing that everyone's going to go to still for Warren, even when you guys come out with more stuff. But hopefully we can promote some of this other stuff for you so you can start selling that as well.
Sure.
So as kind of a final thing, did you want to add anything else about the company, anything to do, anything that are upcoming events that people can attend? I know with the whole COVID thing, it's kind of hard and there's not a lot going on, but
right.
Anything else that you wanted to add in?
Oh, geez. We are looking forward to 2021 for sure. I believe we'll be participating in like the SEMA 360, which is going to be the virtual SEMA show. But I personally am looking forward to being able to get back out to shows and all that stuff. That's one of my favorite things to do, is interact with owners and see how people use our products and get feedback on it, see a human being face to face. So, but we're definitely looking forward to the future. We've got all kinds of new products coming out. We are definitely active on social media. We're on Facebook at Warren Fans, facebook.com/Warren Fans. We're at Warren Industries on Instagram, Warren Industries on Twitter, and you can find us on YouTube by searching Warren Industries. But yeah, it's an exciting time. Despite the COVID thing, this industry, a lot of companies are doing really well and coming out with some cool stuff. Because one of the things people can still do is get out there and either hit the trails or go camping or exploring or whatnot. That you can social distance that way. So we're working like crazy to meet demand at this point. Unfortunately, some of our stuff right now is on back order just because we can't make it fast enough. And it's a bit of a good problem to have, but at the same time, you want to be able to make sure your distributors and your customers all have what they need. So, but definitely looking forward to the future and keeping up with new products.
Awesome. Yeah, I know definitely it's been hard getting products. I think a lot of people are at home just wanting to work on their rigs or go out and wheel their rigs, and they might break it or might figure out they need something else, or that stimulus check burning a hole in their pocket.
There was
a little bit of
everything.
That. Yeah, I bet you guys had a lot of winch sales come when people were getting those stimulus checks.
Yeah, that is true. It's funny because winches are so in demand right now. I mean, I will get people. I've even had a couple of shops call me, like people I know who own a shop somewhere, and they're just like, Andy, I've got to get a winch. Like I need a winch. Like I've got this build that's supposed to be done. I can't get a winch. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't get a winch. I literally have another Xeon 8 coming for my current build that I'm doing.
Right.
And I mean, I've been waiting for 20 days, 25 days right now. I mean, I work at the company.
So, you're like, I should just be able to go out back and grab one and walk away with it.
Wish it was that simple, but yeah, it's just we're working as hard as we can to get that stuff out the door as quickly as possible, and we're starting to get inventory of stuff again, so that's great.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to be on the podcast, and I'll make sure to link all your social media stuff in the show notes and in the description when this goes live on YouTube. It'll go up on the podcast platforms on Wednesday, and then the following Saturday it'll be released to YouTube. So I'm
Great.
sure if people have questions, I can direct them towards you if I can't answer them with my limited knowledge that I have about some of the products that I've used. So, uh,
Yeah, absolutely. You can I'm always available on through our Facebook page, Instagram DMs, that kind of stuff at the Warren accounts. I always kind of jokingly say I'm the easiest guy to get a hold of because I've got about 15 different ways to get a hold of me.
yeah, and it's all on you. So definitely busy job. So thank you again, and look forward to working with you more in the future.
That sounds great. Thanks for having me.
That's it, guys, and thanks for listening to the Bearded Jeeper podcast. And a special thank you to Andy for taking the time out of his busy schedule to talk to us and inform us a little bit more about Warren and the company, and it was a really cool interview. So make sure you go check out Warren's social media. I will link it all in the show notes below. As always, guys, stay bearded, stay jeepin'. I'm out.